Nailed
All
it.
right. Now we're
Nice.
live.
We are. Good work, Jose. Pass mark for the first part.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks for the invitation.
That's all right. Yeah. So thank you for coming down, guys. And we've got a special guest here today. And we decided to do a bit of a member story. So rather than just always have the coaches talking, which is fantastic, don't get me wrong, we thought we would do something different and bring down one of my favourite members to have a chat and hear about his story and also what makes him tick. And have a bit of a laugh.
Can we get a bit of a secret to how you got your abs as well?
I'll let you know.
The legend. The myth, the man, the legend.
Some people think that they are spray painted on, so...
If they are, where
Every
did
day,
you-
the work that it takes,
Yeah.
to do it every day and paint it every day.
Yeah.
if they are, can you give me a guide?
All right, so what the topic for today is what does RX mean, and what are we going to do as far as RX in the gym? So RX is obviously a term that gets thrown around a fair bit, and a lot of people they love it when they go RX, and it's a great benchmark to make. There's a lot of benchmark workouts. So going RX is like a really cool way to see where you're at. In saying that though, sometimes people get a little bit discouraged because they feel like, well, I'm never hitting RX. I'm not good enough for CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I really don't like that because I just think CrossFit is just a vehicle for fitness, and I love being able to drive that vehicle. I feel like a bus driver, right? Driving us all to hell, and being able to get everyone involved, and no matter what your fitness level is, being able to get on that bus basically and being able to train and have a great time in the process, because fitness should be fun. And I really think we've got a great recipe here of fitness and fun, and we have a great time. So I'll get into Brendan's mind first to see what he thinks about RX, and then we'll jump to you, Jose.
I see RX myself as a vehicle to push intensity. When it comes to workouts and when it comes to the things that you need to get out of a workout, it's more about where you're at and how you're going to push and what's going to be individually good for you. So probably what I see is the abuse of RX. So the idea out of a workout, because us as coaches, we've got an idea of what we want to achieve and how we want to achieve it. If the weights are too heavy and you're moving too slow, well, then the weights aren't heavy enough for you to, increase your strength, and you're not moving fast enough to improve your VO2 max. So you're sitting in that sort of gray area where you're not really getting the most out of your time. In saying that, the coaches will prescribe you, an idea of what we think is going to be best for you, and we'll also give you education in regards to you need to hang on to the bar. All right, so if there's 10 reps, you need to hang on to the bar. If you need to break it up in the second round, probably breaking it up into sets of 5. That's the weight that you sort of need. Mm-hmm. We're human. We make mistakes. Sometimes we walk in, we're thinking we're 10 foot tall, and we're like, oh, today's going to be a good day. 3, 2, 1, go. And all of a sudden, 3 minutes into the thing, you're just like, wow, I overstepped. I went a little bit too heavy today. I'm probably feeling a little bit, under than what I normally thought. And yeah, that's completely fine as long as we're aware of it. Mm-hmm. But one big thing about RX as well, RX is a peak. So it's a peak of fitness. That's we should be, if we are able to do RX, we should only be doing it maybe once or twice a week. Mm-hmm. We do need to have that time. So think about a peak, there's always troughs afterwards. So if you do an RX workout, and then you do an RX workout, and then you do an RX workout, that peak's coming. So you need to regulate that peak. It's how long you spend down in that trough.
But it also depends on what exactly RX means. Like there's RX workouts that are defined by like the CrossFit HQ.
Yeah.
And then there's RX workouts that we can create. So we can create an RX workout to be with single unders or at 40 kilos or at 60 kilos. So then you can RX plus it. So it's a loose term as far as, the standard that we want you guys to kind of push for. And yesterday's workout, for example, the first time I did it at RX. Yeah. And then that just beat me up real bad. So yesterday when I did it, for the second time, I did it scaled. So I scaled the weight down to 40 kilos rather than 50, and it was much more manageable. I got heaps more out of it. And there's no love lost, I don't walk away going, oh, like I'm not hitting RX, so I must be useless. That's something my mum used to say to me. No, she loves me. She's good. So yeah, what I found is that, being able to modify or also do the workout according to your ability is really good. So I'll jump over to Jose. And I just want to hear about, your experience with RX and how you started out with CrossFit.
Well, first the RX question. I think that RX or RX Plus for me is simply a label. So it doesn't define where should I be training myself. I think more towards reaching always some minimum level of effort. Let's say 80%, 90% of my effort. And if that means that I'm going to be doing what you call RX for that day or RX Plus or even scale, then I'll take that. The programming is a reference though. Like you use it as a reference. When I started doing CrossFit, I couldn't do RX, and then suddenly I was doing RX, and then I felt like I'm 70% with this RX. Why don't I go a little bit further, and then I start trying RX Plus. So the thing that I just pay attention to is that ideally I want to do the Metcon or without stopping. I want to find a way in which I can keep the same pace without stopping for too long. If for whatever reason I chose to go RX Plus and I'm stopping more than 10 seconds, 8 seconds, then I said, man, I shouldn't have gone this hard.
You bit off more than you could chew.
Because I'm losing time. The idea is to be able to go through the entire workout without stopping. Some days it would be trying to keep the heart rate low, and some days it would be keeping it up, or some days would be keeping it low and then at the end pushing it but always trying to use the 14 minutes or the 15 minutes as much as I can. So again, people shouldn't be concerned about the RX or the RX Plus because it's simply a label. You have to find which level you have to train so you maintain yourself at that 80 to 90% and you work out the entire time.
And when did you start CrossFit?
It was 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So you've been here for a while now.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Yeah. And what did you start at? Like, how did you find the workouts and how did you find CrossFit in general?
I went to Colombia for holidays, and then my sister was doing something called CrossFit and said, why don't you do it? I was already doing a lot of cardio, and the reason why I started doing that was because I used to play squash. I play squash, and I broke my foot, and I couldn't play for 3-4 months. So during that time, I felt like I was, wasting my life, like physically sitting on a couch and like I wasn't using my potential. And I went up in weight. And I said, no more. I cannot do this anymore. So as soon as I get better, I'm going to start running. So I started running every day. I never run in my life. So I started running 2 kilometers or walking and then getting up to 3 kilometers. And suddenly I was running 5, 6, 10. I ended up running 10 kilometers in 43 minutes.
That's good.
After not running at all.
Nice.
And I was, 38 years old. So I lost a lot of weight. Went down from 92 kilos to
92
to 78 kilos.
That's a big drop.
And doing a lot of riding, put a challenge with one of my mates and did 200 kilometers in one day. And at that moment, I say, something's going on because I lost too much weight. And I reckon that's what helped the abs a little bit because I lost all the fat. I was very thin. I look even sick, but I felt great. So at that point, I started seeing, I need to do something to recover some muscle. But I don't like going to the gym. Never going to the gym. Don't like training by myself. It is too monotonous. And then when I went to Colombia, my sister showed me that, and I said, "Wow, this is amazing." Then when I came here to back to Australia, I signed up and. This was the thing. When I saw people here doing handstand push-ups and rope climbs, that day was amazing. Sunny. And everyone was doing crazy things. And I love a challenge. It's like, this is for me.
Here we go. So that's the thing. I remember when you came in as well, it was good fun and took you through the process and got you involved. And I've gotten to know you over the last 2.5 years, and you're one of the type of people like that I just get along with really well because just like me, you like to have a cold shower in the morning.
Yeah, that's
Why is that? Why do you like the cold shower?
Mate, it's a little bit weird. All that I do in my life is with one principle, is to control your mind. Intellectually, professionally, physically. And I think that when you take your mind to those levels of let's call it pain, some people call it pain,
discomfort,
yeah, you become a better human. Right? You can deal with the simple things, traffic, someone crossing, or things that are normal for everyone, more easily. So it is, I don't like to be not having the control of my emotions, for example. And if you have a tolerance that is very low, then things will define how you are instead of you defining how you act on those things. You may lose your job, or have a fight with your partner or something like that, or your kids are not obeying, or if you take your body and your mind to that level of discomfort, then you can control that. So the cold shower is one way to do that, because when you get there, it will never be easy.
Never.
Right now, it's very cold. Like I took it this morning, but after 2-3 minutes, when you dominate that, you say, "Mate, this
I'm in charge. Yeah,
I'm in charge. Yeah, and can do anything."
Yeah.
And the same happens when you're reaching that point in that Metcon.
Yeah.
You want to reach that point constantly, because you're winning a battle every day, and that way you will go further in anything else that you have. Your relationships get better, your work get better.
Yeah.
Everything. So the cold shower is just
one step.
One
one thing in the whole, and that's the thing as well. Like I was listening to a bit of Tony Robbins, and he was talking about how he has an actual bathtub that's constantly set at a very cold temperature. Wow. And he's now past the point of even saying to himself, get in there, let's go, let's, he doesn't even try to motivate himself to do it anymore. He just knows that that's what he does. Yeah. And he jumps in there and completely submerges himself in really cold water every single morning.
Wow.
And that just resets his mind and lets him know that he's in charge of his day and of his destiny. And, we've all got things in life, whether it's the circumstances at work or, traffic, or people that are around us that will try to drag you down, or that will try to say or do things about you in your life, and you'll feel like you feel that negativity, or you'll feel things pulling you away from trying to be the best person you can be, and no one's perfect. And if you have all these little things in your life every single day to try to counteract that and fight against it, your whole entire armor that you put on every day is going to be much more resilient.
Yes. And your goal when you meet those people or those situations is show them that they can be better. And if they cannot, because they want to be negative, and they will be so uncomfortable around you that they're going to run away.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when there are days like yesterday. It was very tough for me working, and I was exhausted, and you have to know yourself as well. It's not every day you won't be at your peak, as you were saying. So understanding where you are, you have to choose the right action to maintain the control.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. And so that's where CrossFit and what we do here is such an amazing program, because we've got coaches that understand these principles and love to actually help guide people, that they go, all right, well, they get to a point a lot of the time. It doesn't matter really where they are on their journey, but they're at a point where they also want to have something each day or every second day to push them a little bit further, make them a little bit happier, and give them an outlet so they can start to control their mind, control their body, think about increasing the value behind what they eat, and how they just have a disciplined routine with their life. And that's one thing that really drives me and that I love, is when I see people change. That's what I've seen over the years that I've been doing this now, is being able to watch people change and watch their very nature change. They can come in and they're just like anxiety or depression, and they're having panic attacks. And then after 6 months, 12 months, it's just gone.
Yes.
It's gone, and they're just a different person. And I love to see that. I love to watch that. And I've seen it in myself as well. And I love to watch the process that happens, and to just love other people and to watch them lift up their lives and lift others around them and watch their family and environment increase and improve. It's just beautiful. So
I remember when the first day I came here, that this place would change you if you let it. And I agree totally.
Yeah.
You just have to. Thing is that sometimes people may push too hard at the beginning, like they are working towards a goal instead of towards experience.
Yeah.
They have to feel what they are doing that day instead of trying to think that I know I want to look like that or want to weigh this much or no. Just go through the experience, enjoy that experience. That at the end, the consequence will be that you may or not, achieve that goal, or perhaps end up on something much better.
Yeah,
you didn't even know. You
100%.
achieved something even better. When you define a goal and you work towards it, if that goal is too easy to reach, then you're defining yourself too low. And if you go too hard, then you may quit because you won't achieve it. But if you define your experience, so you say, I want to feel good today, I want to manage this today, then you may discover your true potential.
Yeah.
And that's when you start controlling that 80-90% constantly. It's not about doing RX or RX plus or losing 10 kilos. It's about the experience.
Yeah.
And then you may end up losing 20.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, because if you fall in love with the experience, then life is good.
Yeah.
So I'll jump back to Brendan in a second, but one thing I did want to just cover, like, what do you actually do for a living?
I'm an engineer.
An engineer.
Yeah, electronics. I work in telecommunications. So
okay.
Nice.
And he's going to end up writing a book soon, I think. So
Oh.
he's a good guy. Like,
Nice.
like I've said before, I love Jose, and we just resonate well together. But he resonates well with everyone, so it's probably not us getting along. He's just friendly with everyone. So, but no, I really like Jose, and that's why I've asked him on today, because we talk about this stuff and we always have a good chat. So it's good. So what I wanted to ask you as well, Brendan, about RX is something that you're looking to do, which is percentages of people's 1RM to be their RX.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing that with CrossFit, it's very different compared to a lot of other sports. So any power-based sports like weightlifting, it's defined by weight classes. So you're essentially trying to get put with someone who's around the same sort of, height, power, strength, or height and power as you. That's what I want to sort of bring into, is that sort of philosophy in regards to RX something. It's something of your effort, not as what's called a group effort. So that means a percentage of your max RM. So to do, say, power cleans, heavy power cleans at 80% of your maximum effort will be your RX. All right. We're going to slowly drip feed that in through the, through the workout. It's not going to be a wholesale change, because I know how much people dislike wholesale changes all at once.
We like to call them improvements here, Brendan.
Improvements.
Yeah.
Yep. Improvements in oneself.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, you will definitely be seeing that, especially for those more technical sort of lifts. Essentially, I want you to achieve the best that you can possibly do as part of your time here.
Yeah.
And that's, we're going to play with a few different ways and means of getting the best result for this particular group. The percentages of 1RMs is definitely something that I like, because I like to see people push and I like to see people get their results. And I just want to bring things back to the goal setting side of things, is the process versus the outcome goal. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, everyone, you do need to have an outcome goal. You do need to be able to say, well, I want to do this. Okay. Give yourself a time frame. And then how are you going to do it? Fall in love with the process, not with the outcome. Because if you do the process, the outcome comes as a byproduct of it. Another thing that I really, really liked was about your story was how you had something that happened to you, but you didn't. An injury happened to you. You fell off the wagon, but you didn't let it define you. One book that I read.
He didn't let it define him. He let it refine him.
Refine him.
Yeah,
I like that.
It actually refined him, didn't it?
And a book that I read by Mark Donaldson, a VC recipient, goes on about not post-traumatic stress disorder, but post-traumatic growth. And how bad things in his life, he didn't let it define him as who his character, so he didn't become a victim. It definitely was a bad thing that happened. He did acknowledge it, but he was able to use it as an area of growth to, toughen him up. And like, the story goes that his mother was murdered, and then he ended up getting into the SAS. So he didn't let something become a victim. It was something as part of his life that was very traumatic, but he used it to grow as part of his life. I mean, everyone's got things. Jose with the ankle injury. Everyone will experience, trauma in their life. Obviously, some people have greater severity than others, but I guess the big thing is that if you just don't let it define you, who you are. You don't become a victim, and you define yourself by the things that you love. Like Jose will talk to people about CrossFit. He's wearing a CrossFit T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off.
Yeah,
we're hoping.
It's define yourself by the things that you love, and it's something that my old man tells me is, at the end of the day, we're all gonna pass away someday. And how are people going to see you at your funeral? Are they going to turn around and say, oh, yeah, he hated his job. He always complained about his job. And define yourself, man, he loved football. He loved CrossFit. He loved going hiking. Have that as the first recollection when anyone thinks of you is, oh, man, he won't stop talking about riding his bike. He just loves doing this. Make the first thing that people remember you for is the thing that you love. Yeah. You don't become a victim that way.
Yeah, no, that's really nice.
And I really, really like that. And that's why I'm always saying I am living the dream. Because essentially I've got I've got a pretty damn cool job.
Yeah.
The stuff that I do sometimes.
And a cool boss.
Yeah.
Even when I come to that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always things where, things do get tough and you do have challenges, in your work and also in, everything in life. But at the end of the day, you sit back and just like, man, this is pretty cool. The risks that I took to get here were definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And the things that have paid off. And you sit there, you read the rewards for it, and you're just like, man, this is a pretty cool gig. You earned it. You worked your butt off. You took some serious risks to try and get there. You didn't take the safe option. But at the end of the day, man, it's worth it.
And that's what I really like as well, is having you here as well, Brandon. You've got a great reputation, and a lot of people love your experience and the care and love that you give them. And, it's just a testament to the culture here at TRG, and also the people here that love the coaches, and also the people here that love to train here. You know what I mean? It's a really good testament. And that's, I like to see that as well. I like to see that great professionals and good, happy people get the most out of what we're doing here. And that makes me happy, because that's what my mission is as well, to reach as many people and to make their experience here as happy as possible.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got a story, everyone's got things that they're going through, and everyone suffers to some extent. I hope that what we do here helps people bear that suffering and helps them to, lift up their shoulders, pull their shoulders back, and face the world with a bit more confidence, because life is tough. There's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of hard things going on out there, and I really like to hear that, and I love to see how you're experiencing it as well. And so what are your goals now, Jose, and what do you hope to achieve moving forward? Let's hear it.
If I can get there, I would like to participate in one of the Masters competitions one day. I know there is a lot of things missing, need to work on my snatch, hands walk. Haven't done my first ring muscle ups. But I think I can do it. The thing is that I need to focus on those skills to improve it. But again, my process is not defined by that. I just have to walk at the pace I can, and if I get there, then I'll be happy. That defines my direction, though.
Yeah.
But doesn't define what I do. I'm not gonna say suddenly, gonna increase 20% of what I'm lifting to try to be stronger in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push it that way. I'm just gonna try to continue doing the same process, because I don't want to get injured. That would be the worst thing, That's from the CrossFit point of view.
Awesome.
And let's go back to your story and think about how cool it is.
Yeah.
So you came here just to put on a bit of muscle. And you're running. And that was your goal. Now your goal is to take that strength that you've built over the time to actually then showcase it off. So that's bloody awesome. That is something that's so amazing, that your goal has shifted from being just that little bit of a process to, I just want to get a little bit stronger. I just want to look a little bit better because I'm looking lean, but I want to fill out my shirts a little bit more maybe, or I just want to have that feeling of being strong. And then
and you know
over that time,
sorry to interrupt you there. There was this point. I was 78 kilos, and then my mom called me and said, I'm having a lot of pain in my back, and then started researching and says that with age, when you get 60, 70, you lost a lot of muscle. I said, well, I don't want to be like that because I have no muscle. So I gotta get some. Do I buy it? So I remember that day.
You don't buy it.
You gotta suffer to get it.
Yeah.
But no, that's phenomenal, man. That's such a cool thing. Like, I mean, your story goes from, something that was pretty traumatic that could have defined you. You could have been just on the couch nursing that leg, saying, I could have been something, but, my ankle injury happened and that stopped me. No, that ankle injury led you to here. Yeah. It led you to where you are now, and it's going to lead you to where you want to go. So when you look back at that, that's something very negative and very, very easy to turn the other way and say, well, I'm just going to sit down and I'm just going to drink a couple of beers and watch Seinfeld repeats.
Yes.
But that's still pretty cool. But it's taken you to where your goals were just being like, I want to run a little bit, and then I want to be able to run a lot, and then I want to get strong. Now I want to compete. So, man, that's an awesome story, dude. That is phenomenal.
And it all comes down to cold showers.
Cold shower.
The cold shower thing is recent, and I'm having a great time.
Yeah,
I'm having a great time.
It's good. It's a buzz. So yeah, if there's people out there that haven't tried the cold shower yet, give it a go. Start off with tepid because it's icy during the winter, but give it a try. See how you feel. Yeah. You're not going to die. All right, you're gonna breathe a lot more, so you're gonna get more oxygen in, which is great. See how you go. See how you feel. Let us know. So yeah, I reckon Jose, speaking of which, got to get off to work. Really appreciate you coming down today, man, and great to talk about your story about RX, and I think that's a pretty cool chat that we've had today, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So
nice.
Any questions, guys, shoot them through, or if you think you'd like to come and jump onto the podcast, let us know. Jose didn't put his hand up. I actually sourced him out. So
round him up.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was good material for this. But
that's great.
Oh, no, man, you've been an absolute legend. It reinforces all the things that I think are really, really good. And as coaches, being at ground zero for people who are on that edge of wanting to define themselves as not being a victim, but as being someone who actually wants to take something on and actually turn something in. It's really cool, and that's really good about being here, because we get people coming in, post-injury, and just wanting to get a little bit of confidence. It's like I said, I've got the coolest job in the world. I get to help people get better, and also when people stick it out and you see where they come, like their goals go from, just wanting to put on a bit of muscle, then to being able to compete. And that's just great. It just makes my job makes me get out of bed. Not necessarily doing a cold shower in the morning, but it makes me get out of
It'll
bed.
It'll come.
4:30 every morning.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. And look forward to the next one. So, all right. Peace out.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
See ya.